Yeah, just. Good evening and welcome to the Cancer Education Series brought to you by MercyOne and Above and Beyond Cancer. My name is Chris Goodale and I'm the Executive Director of Above and Beyond Cancer. It is my pleasure to introduce our founder, Dr. Richard Deming, who will introduce our very special guest this evening. Dr. Deming?
Hey, Chris, thank you. You are right. Very special guest. We are all very fortunate tonight. My friend, cancer survivor, Charlie Lustman. Charlie and I met about 10 years ago, I think, maybe a little more than that. And Charlie is a cancer survivor, and he's going to tell you his story. But more than being a cancer survivor, he's also a professional musician, a singer, songwriter, entertainer, and an all-around great guy. And not only did I get a chance to meet him about 10 years ago and see his talent then, but Charlie joined us on the Above and Beyond trip to Colorado last year, and he was my roommate. And we got to hike together and do yoga and sing, and it was just a great adventure. Charlie lives in Oregon, so he lives near Ashland, and fortunately his home was spared but was very close to the forest fires. And he is with us today from his garage. That doesn't make him a garage band though, but he's just a really talented, kind, compassionate guy, and you're in for a treat tonight. We all are. My friend, Charlie Lustman.
Hello. Thanks, Dick. Chris, thank you for that intro. I am really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I have been through quite a lot, and I think we all have over the last half year to a year. It's been kind of nutty, and I am just very grateful to have the opportunity to share some of my experiences from my cancer journey, which started 12 years ago. I lost my upper jaw, the entire upper jaw. This part was taken away. And being a singer, that was kind of, you can imagine when they told me we're going to have to remove that, and you may not talk or chew the same way again. I said, look, I don't need to talk or chew. I need to sing. I need to sing again. And that was what drove me. It was the, I guess the why to all of this that I had gone through. And I always knew through the years, like, why do I do this or why do I do that? But it was in that cancer moment of learning this diagnosis of Osteosarcoma that I had to find the why. And that was a huge part of the experience for me, was the why. And why was, first, I had kids. I mean, my wife was pregnant and I had a 3-year-old, and I'm like, well, I want to be here for them. And then another bigger thing came down to me that said, wait a minute, there is another why here. You need to sing and write again, write songs, in fact, about the journey that you are now going through, and then go out there and sing for other people going through a similar journey of overcoming a difficult life challenge. And that's been my theme. So I got the love guitar. Woo, 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 woo. Yes, the love guitar is in the house, Look at that. You like that orange? Nice, huh? And yeah, this was a very special thing, because when I started on the idea of going out there and singing, I had to find the right guitar, and most guitars are brown, like this one. It's just, brown, right? It's just brown. Didn't work. Had to find something crazy and wonderful, and so this is the hippie. It's called the hippie, right? And so when I sat in the chair and I started thinking, well, what am I going to do here? I remembered the first thing that happened to me when they brought me into the room, and a nurse who was dressed in a metal suit. She said, "I will inject you with the fluid." And I was like, wow. And she basically shot me with this fluid. It was nuclear. And she made me nuclear. So the first song that I came up was Made Me Nuclear. Come on in, sit down, she said. Have you ever seen this bed? Oh no, it's really strange. Looks like a space age dream. Well, don't be scared, it won't take long, and we can play your favorite songs. Just relax and close your eyes. Well, it sounded like a machine gun. It wasn't even close to fun. I had my arms above my head like they arrested me. And now it's time to take some more, because the doctors need more to explore. Come this way inside my room. And they shot me. They made me nuclear. And they told me that it would make me glow. Oh, yes, they radiated me, because they want to see my bones. They took me down a hallway floor. It looked just like a psycho ward. Well, it was underneath the hospital like a bomb shelter. And there I was in a movie scene, right in front of a time machine. H.G. Wells would sure be proud. 'Cause they shot me, they made me nuclear, and they told me it would make me glow. Oh, yes, they radiated me, 'cause they want to see right through my bones. And they promised me when I got home that I wouldn't feel a thing they scanned, but I could light a light bulb in my hand. So, I'm just having a good time here, right? And that's the whole idea. I took what was so difficult for me at the time. I mean, I was going through every emotion. First, of course, denial, and then anger, and then depression, and coming up with an idea of how I can find a way to do something with what was happening with this and also feel better. And for me, it was music. That's what carried me through. So there I am in the doctor's office, the one who's going to saw off my jaw, right? And I was in the anger mode at that point. And he walks in and he looks like he's 17. So I was a little nervous. and he saw me. I was like really upset. And I was looking at the wall at all the, certificates, and I saw like, ooh, wait a minute, that's a state college. I don't know. I'm looking for Harvard and Oxford, Yale. And he's like, look, I see you're really upset. I'm like, yes, I'm very upset. How can I not be upset? I'm about to have my jaw sawed off, right? And he said, well, look, I want to share that. I know how you feel. I'm like, really? How's that? And he said, well, I'm a cancer survivor too. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Tell me more. And he said, well, I had a rare blood cancer, and they told me there was nothing that they could do for me. My peers, I mean, I'm a scientist, and here they're telling me they can't do anything for me. He said, I had to believe in something bigger than what I could see. And I just leaned in, and he's like, look, Charlie, I'm going to do everything to make your body, to heal you, to make this work for you. Okay. But the spirit and the mind, that's you, man. That's 2 out of 3. You have control over that side of it. And I was like, wow, my surgeon just gave me a mind, body, spirit talk. I was like, I love you. Saw my jaw. I was like, I love this guy. And so it was a wonderful, actually, transition. Of course, getting into the operating room, and they did the pre-op, gas thing, and I wasn't knocked out yet, and they rolled me in to the operating room, and I saw the power saw on the table. Yep. It was like, just 1 second I was out, right? I was like, that's just wrong, okay? But, I woke up, and it was the most out of control feeling that I've ever been through in my life, because, well, of course, they took all my clothes, and I couldn't move because from the anesthesia. It was like the most horrible feeling, but I came through that too with this song. Na, 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 na. They read my pathology, and they planned my MAC, selected me for Monday. And I swear it was so bizarre, when I opened up my eyes, I couldn't say anything to anyone, 'cause my jaw was closed from what they'd done. Thank God my wife was next to me, or I'd have gone quite mentally. Oh man, it's so surreal to me. Na 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 na. So they took me back to lay back on the table with the fancy clothes they gave me. 'cause they said the story, it wasn't over till the villain, he was gone. We had to wait again so patiently, and we held each other endlessly until they called us back to say they see the cells inside were cancer free. Oh man, it's so surreal to me, surreal to me, the life we've got. Ooh, 'cause one day you are in control, then suddenly you're not. Na 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 na. And the doctor said, I hope you're feeling better soon so we can start your treatment right away. You see, we want to make sure, so we planned a year of chemo for your birthday. Now the world is a hotter place. They tell us it's a state of global warming. And they fight in the Middle East like they used to do 1,000 years ago. I see now everything so differently. I thought I knew where I would be, but something else from up above can take away the things we love. Oh man, it's so surreal to me, surreal to me, the life we've got. Ooh, 'cause one day you are in control, then suddenly you're not. Oh, one day you are in control, then suddenly, na 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 na. Woo! Yay! They sawed off his jaw. That's what yeah, I do this all around the country and in Europe and everything. Before the pandemic, I travel around and do this, and I sing this song, right? And everybody's like, woo! And I'm like, yay, right? They sawed off my jaw, and everybody's like, oh yeah, ooh. They didn't. It was like this juxtaposition. They didn't know really to be excited or not over what happened, but that's the idea of Maybe Nuclear in my project. It's to create a feeling of to let go, to see a possibility in all of this that's happening. And for me, it's like, why not sing an upbeat song about getting my jaw sawed off? And yes, I did. I was facing chemo. Prior to the surgery, and they did the biopsy, they saw that it was a low-grade tumor, low-grade. So that meant no chemo. But once they cut it, and it took like 10 days to decalcify, bone takes 10 days to decalcify, and they saw it, it came in as high-grade. And that kind of upset me since I didn't even get high grades in school. So I think it's just not the right time for that. I hope you just laughed. I don't get anything back. So, you know, I'm hoping you got a chuckle out of that. But it really did upset me. And so, yeah, there I was facing a year of chemo, 1 year, a year, 20 plus rounds. It was quite a ride, but it was during that time, during that entire experience, that I had that turnaround of the way I was seeing this entire journey. It really did shift for me. And I went away to a positive mental seminar, which was pretty amazing, that I was able to go to it and experience the things that they shared with me. And it was just, I was so pumped up on positivity. I was just so excited that when I came back, I got kicked out of my support group for being too supportive. And well, it wasn't exactly like, you know, it was just that the therapist was like, I think you kind of like don't need to be here anymore. You mean like I graduated from my support group? It's like kind of, you know, because it was, everybody still had that need to share. And it's so vital that in the support group, you share those feelings, those pains, those things. You know, so a guy like me coming in going, but wait a minute, you can see it this way, you can see it that way, you know, and I was just ready for the next thing. And when I went into chemo, like the next week, I remember a friend of mine said, you know, you should wear a cape and run in there. I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. So he made me a shirt that said Chemo Man. Okay. And I ran and I'm like, Chemo Man. And the cape was like flapping behind me. Right. And the nurses are like, oh God, how long is he going to be still with us? Like another 6 months. But the idea was that I was just pumped up. It was a new experience. I was like experiencing what's possible. And that changed everything for me. You know, they bring me my adramycin, which is the red chemo, very red. And she brings it to me. She checks my tag, right? And then she's about to place it on the thing. And I'm like, you need to take that back. She's like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, I don't drink Merlot. Bring me a cab, okay? I mean, I was just having a good time. So yeah, you know, they loved me in there. And especially because I would go in there and start singing a song called Chemo Brain. You ready? All right. Well, baby, it's not strange the things I do. Or a guy who's had a dose or two. Well, sorry, I forgot the chicken cooking on the range. And I almost burned the kitchen down if they had not come back from town. It's chemo brain, chemo brain. Oh, don't be mad at me. 'Cause baby, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. Yes, the doctor warned us of this state. And it happens to the best of us, they say. So come on, honey, please be patient. You know it's not my fault. And I feel like such a fool getting to pick up the kids from school. Oops. Chemo brain. Oh, don't be mad at me. 'Cause darling, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. It makes you do things that you would not have done at all. It's such a good excuse to use. Still use it 10 years strong. Well, yes, I like the lobster live from Maine. Caviar and Dom Perignon champagne. Well, it must have been the finest meal that I ever had. And I left as happy as a pill, but I forgot to pay the bill. Chemo brain. Oh, don't be mad at me. 'Cause judge, can't you see I'm not to blame? It's chemo brain. It makes you do things that you would not have done at all. Such a good excuse, it's chemo brain. Chemo brain. Oh, don't be mad at me. 'Cause darling, can't you see I'm not the same? It's chemo brain. Woo! Right? And so like in the chemo center, they're like, grab their bags of chemo. They're like, chemo brain. The nurses are like, no, don't do that. Just having a good time. And that was it, man. I mean, that's really what truly got me out of the chair and back into life, was the attitude that I had, was seeing it a different way. And I want to share a quick thing with you. What I learned at that seminar that actually cost me $3,000, and I'm going to give it to you for free. Okay. Here it is. It's called flip it. You flip it from the negative to the positive. It's a really simple thing. You've got to allow yourself to feel how you feel, meaning whatever that is, the depression and anger and all those in between feelings. Everything you feel is real, and those are your feelings, and you let them flow. Got to find a little space where you can let that happen, because I know people around and things, and you have your job and the kids or the partners, or you know, and it's not the right time. Then you find that space, you find that place, and you just feel it. Now, when it's that you get tired of feeling it, meaning you're exhausted. Oh my gosh, I just can't keep feeling this way because I'm just so tired. Good. That's the moment where you flip it, okay? You flip it. And what does that look like? So you're feeling down, you're feeling tired, you've gone through these emotions for so long. You look at what the polar opposite is. What's the polar opposite of how you are feeling? And you see it like a movie in your mind. So the polar opposite of, like, let's say I'm afraid to die from this. Well, what's the polar opposite? Living like you've never lived it before. That's the polar opposite. So what does that look like for you? I mean, for me, it was like, okay, Maui, you know, I close my eyes and I'm in Maui and I'm on the beach. I'm under a tree and a waitress brings me a Mai Tai and I'm feeling the warm breeze and I'm feeling this and I'm seeing it in my mind, right? And then of course the nurse like taps me on the shoulder. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I was in Maui. Thank you. You know." And it works. What happens is the chemicals in your body, the blood cells, you start to put yourself in that place, and it makes you feel better. It's amazing. And you start to actually create visuals of things that you will draw to you. And next thing you know, you're going to be on Maui under a tree. It's just a wonderful thing. So I travel all over the country, and I remember going into a hospital in St. Louis, and there was this young man, must have been, I don't know, 16, 17, 18. And he was in the room, and a couple of his friends, and they're all on their iPhones and iPads and things. And I walked in like with the love guitar. I'm like, "Hey, hi, would you like to hear a song?" And they all three, their like necks went up like this. They're like, "Who the heck are you? Like, you know, get out of the room." Like they were just not. And I'm like, "I see you got the chemo going there. How about if I sing you a recovery song?" And he looks at me and he's like, "This is my first day of chemo." And I'm like, "All right, well, let's look at what recovery looks like, you know?" And they just kind of shook their heads, but I just had to bring my energy into them, you know? I finished what they said I had to do right before my life turned 42. They said that I was clean, clear to go back to the outside world I used to know. But I can't go back to what I was, 'cause I'm somebody new. Before this happened to me, I was stressed. My life in general was such a mess. But I kept doing things that made me fall, until the day I received that call. Now I can't go back to what I've done, 'cause I'm somebody new. Like my Elvis, somebody new. Yeah, 'cause after everything I've been through, I see the planet from a different view, and I'm sliding home to you, somebody new. It's funny what a lot of pain can give a whole new meaning to the life we live. I appreciate the life I've got. I plan to live it and to love a lot, so I can't go back and be an ungrateful man, because I'm somebody new. Ooh, 'cause after everything we've been through, we see the planet from a different view, and we're sliding home to you, somebody new. Now, you know, Dr. O, he'll scan me quarterly until he's sure that I am cancer-free. I'll go back to the hospital and wait in line so they can nuke my body one more time. But I can't complain of what they done to me, 'cause I'm still around. I got some extra time to be somebody new. Yes, I'm brand new. Somebody new. Yeah. So they all slid together. They were like, do 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 do. You know, they had their iPhones out. They were like recording me, you know. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I just walked out, kind of still strumming away. They're like, that guy was nuts. I know, but it was okay. It was kind of cool. Yeah, you know. It's like mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And that's been the idea for the last, I think I'm going on year 11, except for the last 7 months that I've been not able to do this face-to-face. But I'm excited because I can do this face-to-face on this screen with you today. And I'm really happy that you allow me to share with you. Thank you. So, brown guitar, but it has a little white there, you know, it's kind of cool. So, I have a song that is a thank you song. It's a song really, truly of gratitude for everyone who helped me on this journey. And it's called A Simple Song. And it's for all of you. How do I thank you for all that you've given to me? So grateful to me. How do I show you my gratitude towards you for standing by my time of need. Just a simple song is all I know, and what I have to give to you today, and I hope that's okay. 'Cause I need to thank you, the doctors and nurses who helped me get through this, from down on my knees and back on my feet. And all of my family, friends who were there for me. Yes, it was scary, the scene was, I know. They held me close, and the simple song is all I know, and what I have to give to you today, and I hope it's okay. Yes, I hope that's okay. And you know I will be there when you need me to, 'cause all that we have in the end is each other, my friends. So I need to tell you how deeply I love you, for you lived the words that you said on the day that we wed. And these simple songs are all I know, and what I have to give this world today, and I hope it's okay. Yes, I hope it's okay. Yes, I hope, well, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you again for letting me share. But I have one more song for you before you go. Don't you leave me high and dry like that. This is called Do What You Love. We got to do what we love. I love what we do. I mean, we're going through all this stuff. We can still find that thing that we love to do. And if you don't know what you love to do, if you lost it, like, oh, I don't know, just remember what you did when you were a kid. Just go back in your mind and remember when you were playing, you danced, you drew things with crayons. I mean, any of that stuff, tap into that, start doing that again, and it connects you back and makes you feel good, and then you can do what you love. Well, do what you love and love what you do. Love all you can. I'm waiting for you to do what you love. There's no other way, and don't be afraid. Just take every day and do what you love, 'cause life is such a big surprise. You never know what lies right up ahead. Make your plans, but don't forget, no, to do what you love what you do, love all you can. Yes, I'm waiting for you. Do what you love, there's no other way, and don't be afraid. Just take every day and do what you love. You know we've got so many bills to pay, and debts to weigh us down for the rest of our lives. Well, why not pay them doing the things we love, the things we love to do? So don't wait for the lights to change or something strange to happen to us all. This is the time to take control. Not bad for a prosthetic jaw, huh? You ready? Here we go. Okay, now if you don't like Discovery Channel, look away. Otherwise, I can't. I know, that was kind of gross, huh? So you do what you love and love what you do. Love all you can. It's all up to you. Do what you love. There's no other way. And don't be afraid. Just take every day. Ready? And sing along. I'm going to go. And do what you love. Do what you love. Love what you do. Love what you do. Love all you can. It's all up to you. It's all up to you to do what you love. Do what you love. There's no other way. And don't be afraid. Be afraid. Take every day. Take every day. And do what you love. Woo! Yeah. Thank you again for
Awesome.
letting me share, taking the journey with me today, the journey of maybe nuclear. Hey, Dick, you're in the car? Wow, cool, man.
I'm in the car. And Charlie, I was going to light the lighter for you, but my car doesn't have a lighter.
I want to burn the whole car down.
So pretend Okay. So, hey, thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure.
You know, as I was listening to the concert and to your the songs, and I'm kind of putting myself back in maybe what state of mind you were in as you were actually going through the treatments and writing the song. So, I mean, you're a very optimistic, upbeat guy, but I have a feeling that there were times when you were recovering from surgery and going through chemo that you probably weren't quite as upbeat as you are tonight. And so, but one of my questions is, as a songwriter, and then creating this whole musical about what you're going through, did you come up with any songs like Johnny Cash singing "Hurt," or anything that was deep and dark? And what did it take to the process that you went through to find joy, humor, and optimism out of your experience?
Well, there are songs in the collection, on the Made Me Nuclear collection, that takes that down into that place. Why am I so afraid to die? Well, I don't have another answer to. Something everyone will have to do. Me and you. There's a whole song that takes that fear of death, and then the Contemplating Chemo is another song that I had written that was about the contemplation of doing this very, very intense chemical drug. And I was a big kind of naturalist, so it was a big leap of faith. I don't know what I am gonna do. They tell me things I can't believe it's true. That if I want a better chance to live, I've got to follow the advice they give. Because they say the situation can be dire. This may have spread just like a forest fire. 24 rounds of chemotherapy. That is the answer that they have for me. So I just thought, let's just keep it upbeat tonight, you know? I don't want to take anybody too far down, but it was those songs that took me down, that I felt those feelings, that I allowed those feelings to pass through. And then it was just up, up, up from there. Because when I allowed myself to feel that pain, there was only one way to go once I hit the bottom. And it's just kind of been up, up, up ever since. Of course, there's still, I mean, come on, I got a bunch of kids. You think it's all up? It's like, wah! You know, there's a lot of things. And then, my gosh, look, the pandemic was just, you know, so many things have been racial injustices. I mean, it just goes on of what's been happening in this country over the last year. And, you know, the year of chemo, I mean, it's there's a lot happening and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And I work to acknowledge those, to acknowledge my kids for what they feel in those things too. And that is part of that journey. But I still like to go above and beyond what's possible. I just want to see it that way. Every time I feel down and everything, I go, okay, I'm going to feel it. Once I get down to the bottom and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I come back up and I'm like, wait a minute, there's a possibility here. You know, that's kind of where I'm at.
And Charlie, to what extent do you write? So the songs that you performed tonight, especially the more upbeat ones, to what extent are those written in real time while you're going through the process? And to what extent are those written after you're through the process and reflecting back on the process?
Well, it was all sketches mainly through the chemo year. It was all sketched out, like, okay, here's an idea for this, and here's an idea for that, and a couple lyrics came here, a couple of. In the middle of the whole thing is when I went to that positive mental seminar, and the first song came out. I was led in the middle of the night. I woke up, I couldn't sleep, and I went into it was a monastery, actually, the grounds of a monastery in Montecito, California, and I just woke up in the middle of the night because I was just so pumped up, and I ended up inside this church on the grounds. It was like a 250-year-old church. And in there, I got the message. It came to me, and I'm looking in front of me, and there's this blanket over a piece of furniture, and I pull off the blanket, there's a piano. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I sit down, and almost everyone I've known's been afraid of the call. And then my phone rings, and he tells me it's all gonna change. And so I listen to the doctor, but I don't hear anymore. As he tries to explain, I'm standing, unable to move, because the moment that he told me, it felt like someone shot me, frozen like a snowman in the cold. And when I put the phone down, I felt my body trembling, thinking, is this really happening to me? That just came out, just like that. And I don't write like that. I'm like a really crazy writer. I'll write a lyric, throw it away, write it again. It takes me weeks. That just came right out. So it was in that process, kind of like if I let myself just breathe and leave some space and not be as stressed and anxious as I was through a lot of it, all of a sudden out came some really wonderful things. And I grabbed them and I put them together, and here I am, still on the planet doing this, singing this stuff.
Yeah. Let's see, Chris, are there any questions from the rest of the audience? I know they're going to be dialing them in. I can't see the chat box from my phone.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to put them in the chat box or the question and answer. One, we did hear from Lori Hilgerson, one of our fellow trip journeyman mates from Colorado, and she said she loved climbing mountains with you. Your story continues to be inspiring, and to herself and so many others. She is very fond of you, Charlie, so that's good.
Thank you. Good to see you. Right on. Yay.
Yeah, there is a real connection and affirmation that happens on all of these journeys that Above and Beyond Cancer does, for sure.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Charlie, I have a question for you, and this relates to the therapeutic benefit of music. Now, clearly, as a singer-songwriter, I suspect that a lot of the therapeutic benefit you get is from creating this music, the writing of it. My question relates to music that might accompany treatment. So, for example, there's some clinical trials being done looking at the benefit of music while somebody's going through their 4 hours of chemo, music while someone's going through their radiation treatment. When you went through your chemotherapy, when you went through radiation therapy, or any form of treatment, were you ever offered music, or did you just, as a musician, bring along your own headset and music, and you always listened to music while you were going through treatment? Or just talk about the role that you think music might play, not for the musician, but for someone who's not a musician, and the role music might play to accompany and improve the experience of the cancer journey.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, my iPhone or iPad or whatever anybody has, and putting on those headphones and choosing music that lifts you is huge. It goes right into your soul, and it can take you wherever you choose to take it depending on what you're listening to. So that was the first thing, is that I was able to constantly listen to music. For where I was, there wasn't any music being offered in where I went for treatment, but there was a harpist actually in the lobby of the hospital where I was. And the moment I walked in to that lobby and I heard, I mean, this, you know, it just like, it just pulled me right away. And that's the power of the music, that what she was playing was just so calming. It was just and I was automatically in a trance as I walked in. It changed the energy right away for me, especially the fear in coming in and knowing, oh, here we go, another round of chemo. And of course, nobody's excited. And I was like, yay, it's time for my chemo session, you know? It's not like that, Dick, you know what I'm saying here? So to go in and have an atmosphere where music is emanating, it really does penetrate. And I think it works for everyone. Again, of course, not all sizes fit. So maybe a harpist for someone else would just be like, ooh, what's that? You know, like that's kind of weird or what, you know.
Did I die and go to heaven?
Yeah, I mean, that's why having your choice, your playlist is so valuable, because it really can take you through the entire chemo session on another plane. So I'm a big believer of that music can shift where you're going. Yeah.
Good. Couple of questions. So we got a shout out for you from Sharp, your Colorado duet team.
Yeah,
member.
Sharpie.
He sends out and then Allie sends out her love for you and has a question. And
Alibaba.
And you can use this as a segue to you if you want. Are you working on any new songs? She said.
Woo! There is now officially an Above and Beyond song for Above and Beyond Cancer. You ready? Here's a little piece of it. Above and beyond, together we grow strong. We go on and on and on and up, and above and beyond, above and beyond. Yeah, there it is.
Awesome.
I don't know if I should give it all away right now with some verses. All right, here's a quick verse. Why? What's the meaning to this life when we know the reasons why? We can fly above and beyond. There it is. We gave away a little snippet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Allie loves it. So she wants to know where she can buy the
new song.
Single.
Well, it's all you, Doc Deming. It's all you. We're gonna create something. We're gonna create something with this song. Make it something.
Yeah. So Charlie is
gonna go above and beyond.
So would I be considered like a producer?
Executive producer.
Okay, so Charlie is turning me into an executive producer, and we're going to create this version of the song, and it's going to be many musicians in Des Moines that are going to be part of it, and so we're working on it, and so we really look forward to debuting the final version sometime.
Yes, and remember, we want to get some of the crew, people who have been part of Above and Beyond, and anybody else to actually come in and sing with us in the chorus.
Yeah.
So that's something like, like We Are the World. We want to kind of, as many people as can be part of it, to get their voice into the song. Even if it means we do it virtually, like you'll sing it and we'll get your voice and we'll put it in. And we'll just build this massive choir of everybody going above and beyond.
And everyone will get huge royalties.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. The royalties will be right here, baby. Will be right here.
Charlie, we had another question. Does your family participate and sing along, and possibly that would give them also a therapeutic result?
Yes. But the thing is, with these younger kids, they're just like, Dad, shut up. I'm like, check it out. I got a new song. They're like, okay. They like Lizzo and like Bruno Mars and stuff. They're like, Dad, you're just not hip enough. I'm like, look, I'm a 60s, 70s guy. Okay. Have you ever heard of the Beatles? They're like, oh, that's so past. That's so, but yes, I get them to join me as much as they're willing to do that. Yeah.
So we should not look for the family tour like the Osmonds or the Jacksons
maybe more like The Sound of Music, like climb every mountain, something like that. Maybe we can, something like that.
Sure, I get it, absolutely.
But yeah, they, my kids are actually all musically inclined, so I'm working on it. But yeah, thank you for that question. I'm going to take that to the family tonight.
There you go. People ask about you.
So I'll tell everybody that Charlie and I also are looking at, there is some research being done on integrating music into cancer treatment. And so we're looking at creating a protocol. The National Cancer Institute is working with the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts and Renee Fleming, and there's a request for proposals on a clinical trial that would incorporate music in with cancer treatment. So we're also, besides me being an executive producer of Charlie and this song Above and Beyond, we're also looking at a clinical trial that we can launch in our cancer center, integrating music with cancer care.
Amen to that. I'm all in. It's going to be great that music is going to be more and more acknowledged in that area. I think it really helps in making people feel like today is a great day, no matter what it is we're going through, that we can land there.
Yes. Hey,
cool.
So after we make millions on this song, the next song will be "It's a Great Day to Be Alive."
Yeah, it's a great day to be alive.
There we go. Awesome.
Love it.
Well, I have another meeting I have to leave for, but before I sign off, I just want to thank you, Charlie, for sharing your music and your generosity and your compassion. And I am so excited about the collaboration we're doing on both the Above and Beyond song and on music integrated with therapy. Thank you for making it happen, and I can't wait till we debut the song and open the clinical trial.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dick. And thanks to everybody out there for spending a little time with me. And remember, do what you love, okay? Love what you do.
Charlie, you were awesome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Very
Real
special.
pleasure.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.